When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Today's tip from the injury law firm Greenberg and Betterman. Too many pedestrians lose themselves in their phones and have accidents when they walk. So don't do it. Greenberg and Betterman is here to help you. Contact gblawyers.com. That's gblawyers.com and feel better.
Yo. Thanks for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. So the other day, I'm chilling at the crib, about to eat dinner, and my middle son, who at the time of this recording is 16, Cameron, he said, "Dad, check this out." And so I perk up and I'm like, okay, what is he about to say? I'm thinking he's going to say something about music. So he's telling me about this conversation that they're having in his classroom. And he mentions the fact that they were talking about the things that they were doing around the house and just doing chores and stuff like that. And he alluded to the fact that he washes dishes in his house. And some girl in his class said, "Well, you're a boy. Why are you washing dishes?" And he was kind of taken aback, like like he didn't know that boys weren't supposed to wash dishes. And anyway, so the conversation proceeded and they continued to talk basically about roles, gender roles, if you will. And, he was kind of dumbfounded by the fact that he realized that, there's a lot of chores and things that he's asked to do around the house that his classmates and contemporaries and friends don't do. And he was very perplexed by the conversation in that particular statement as well. And so it got me to thinking. I was like, this would be a great topic for the podcast about gender roles. Know your gender role. Play your gender role. I explained to him in the conversation that, first and foremost, that, everybody sees things differently. Sometimes how you go about defining these roles, could be something as simple as how you grew up. If you grew up in a household where there was a traditional role by the man and a traditional role by the woman, everybody kind of played to that and catered to that. If there was a man and a woman in the house. But at the time of this recording in 2018, things are different. People, live life different and they kick it differently. And so, there's really no right or wrong as to how people go about doing it or living their lives. So what I did was I just kind of explained to him like how we kicked it in my house. Up until I was 13, almost 14. I lived with my parents. My parents subsequently got divorced. But it was me, my mom, my dad, and my brother, my younger brother, Damon, who's 3 years younger than me. Right. So in my house, what I saw, I saw, two people who worked. They went to work every day. But my dad didn't have a particular gender role, if you would. My dad cooked. He cleaned. He did the little handy stuff around the crib, I guess, from what I can remember. So, that's what I saw. And so I didn't think anything of it. And my mom, she did the same thing. She cooked, she cleaned, she did stuff around the house. When we moved out of our apartment into our house, she did stuff in the yard. My mom, still probably a little bit better than me, knows her way up under a hood of a car. And I'm ashamed to say that, but I don't know nothing about cars. I know how to change the oil. That's about it. But yeah, so it was, that's the kind of the house that I grew up in. So, there were no particularly defined roles. I just remember, my mom, even to this day can throw down. She can cook, and my dad can cook. And so, it was just a thing where I remember when I was 8 years old, my mom put me in the kitchen. And she said, well, look, you're going to have to learn how to cook. And I didn't really understand it at the time. I was just like, okay, well, why do I need to learn how to cook? You cook for me. And so she just explained to me, like, look, I'm not always going to be around. And at 8, you don't understand that, right? But you figure, okay, well, I got to take a word for it. She says I need to learn how to cook. I need to learn how to cook. And I learned at 8 how to cook. And, of course, I wasn't chefing up. I wasn't chefing up gourmet beans and weenies at that time. But I did, learn the basics of how to cook. And I was really just taught at that age to really not be afraid to cook anything, because the way she explained to me was like, look, hey, the directions on every box or every package. So it tells you what to do. And if you mess it up, worst thing you could do is just throw it away. So I didn't have a fear of cooking or, burning something or anything like that. So I was pretty good at following directions. And subsequently, I learned how to cook. Fast forward to earlier this summer, we were in here in my house chilling, and one of our family friends came by, and her daughter and our daughter, Skylar, are best friends. And she saw me in the kitchen cooking. And she told my wife, she said, oh, Kyle knows how to cook? And my wife said, yes, he can cook. And she was kind of taken aback because, I guess maybe the men that she dealt with, in particular, her ex-boyfriend, he didn't cook. And so she did most of the cooking, or pretty much all of the cooking. So I told her, I said, yeah, I can cook. That's this. And really how I kick it in this crib is that, it really just depends on who gets home first. It's could be just that simple. I don't mind cooking. I actually like cooking. And that's just one example. But I think what I tried to explain to Cameron, getting back to the conversation, what I tried to explain to him was that the roles that he sees us play out is really the roles that I saw growing up in my house. So, for me, I cook, I clean. I'm not a big fan of cleaning. I absolutely hate folding clothes. I don't mind washing clothes, but I hate folding clothes. And fitted sheets. Fitted sheets are the worst. I'm a firm believer in just balling up the fitted sheets and putting it in the closet. Who cares if it's not folded correctly? But my wife will tell you that it needs to be folded correctly. Now, what correctly is, I don't know. Nonetheless, chores, as far as like household chores that I guess traditionally would have in years past been done by the woman of the house, we share in that responsibility. And subsequently, it trickles down to our children. So they have chores as well. And I tell my kids all the time, we were taught and we were told, nobody's asking you for money for the light bill. So, quote unquote, earn your keep. I can't tell you how many times I heard earn your keep growing up. So, yeah, we had to do that stuff. So, the roles, I guess, that were defined for a woman back in the day, I share in those responsibilities, and subsequently my sons do as well. My daughter, she's too young right now, but when she gets of age, she'll learn how to do it too. Because I tell my kids the same thing that my mom told me. I'm not always going to be around. And more importantly, at some point, you got to get out of my house. This will always be home, but at some point, you got to get out of my house. So yeah, there's no, traditional role per se. So we share in the responsibilities in that. And I just try to explain to Cameron, like, that's just your household. That's how we get down in this house. And so, he had a better understanding of it. Back in the day, the woman did the cooking and the cleaning and, the household. The woman took care of the house and the kids, and, the man took care of the quote unquote manly stuff. He was fixing the sink, or he was fixing the toilet, or he was taking care of the cars and changing the oil and, changing tires and all of that good stuff. Cutting the grass, raking the leaves, or whatever the case may be. Me, not so much. I have a nice sized yard. It sits on a corner, so it's a lot of yard and there's a lot of grass to cut. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I haven't cut my grass in like 10 years. Much to the dismay, and I know my Uncle Ronnie is smiling down from heaven, cussing me out. Yeah, I don't cut my own grass. I paid somebody to do it, and I've paid somebody to do it for the last 10 years. It's not that I don't want to cut my grass, people, and I know you're looking at your stereo or your speakers and you're judging me. Don't judge. But no, I don't cut my grass. I don't. I mean, I pay somebody to do it. My man, Garcia, he comes through, cuts it every 2 weeks, and he's done a great job for the last 10 years. And I've paid him well. I don't have any excuses. I don't have a lawnmower. I had a lawnmower. It got broken, and I just never got around to buying another one. And every winter I say, yo, I'm going to get me a riding lawnmower. I'm going to do this, and that. I'm going to be in the yard so heavy come spring and summer. Not so much. But again, that's just not what I do. But, it's a bug out for me, particularly like during the summertime here in Atlanta, to ride through my subdivision and see women cutting grass, which, isn't strange for me because, again, I remember my mom cutting grass. I remember my aunt cutting grass. But it's a little weird for me to see a woman cutting grass, when there's a man in the house and he's inside and she's outside in the 95-degree weather cutting grass. Yeah, looks a little weird. The optics, a little weird, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's their house. But yeah, so I guess the best way I can describe it is, we share the roles here. We have, things that we do that we both do and we're responsible for. And so, I easily could play I'm the daddy card and just, come home from work, plop down on the couch, drink a beer and watch, Fred Sanford. But I don't. I mean, like, that's really not how I kick it. I want to make sure that we instill, life skills into our children. And I think one of the things that, kind of brought me from that conversation that I was having with Cameron is that I just, kind of told him, like, look, everybody doesn't live like you. Maybe your friends, maybe they may have two parents in the household. Maybe they not. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know these kids. But I wanted to impress upon him that, this is how we do it in this house. This is how I did it in my house growing up. And subsequently, at some point, many, 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 many years from now, you'll get married, and many, 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 many years from now, you'll have kids, and you'll do it kind of like how, you're doing it now. And you'll put your kids to work. Just like I put you to work. And I was joking with him. I said, that's why we had kids. We had kids so we can put them to work. But I remember growing up, we had to cut the grass and rake the yard. I hated raking the leaves. I remember coming home from college for Thanksgiving, and my mom was like, yo, you need to rake the leaves. I'm like, rake the leaves? I'm in college. I was like, I'm not raking no leaves. So, but I had to do them anyway. Nonetheless, it's, roles, I guess the best way that I could say is that, I would impress upon each of you, to talk about what your expectations are. If you're in the process of dating someone, before you get too serious, ask them what roles do you want them to play as you progress, and if you were to be married. Because I think, sometimes people have certain expectations that things are going to be one way, and then they get in a marriage and things aren't that way. And I understand, I get it. The woman of 1988 is totally different from what the woman of 2018 is. I get it. And that's a 30-year gap. And I understand how the woman's role has evolved. Maybe, the woman in 1988, maybe she didn't have to drive, 30 miles to work and battle in traffic and then come home and have to deal with kids and homework and all of this other stuff and kids on social media. It's a lot. And I think you have to have these type of discussions and also speak on your expectations of what it is that you want the roles in the house to be. If not, it can be very confusing. And, the last thing you want to do is cause confusion or add to confusion. Honestly, there are roles that we all play. But one thing I've learned over a period of time is that the roles that you play, if you're trying to sustain a relationship, if you're trying to even sustain a friendship, let alone a marriage, the roles are constantly evolving and they're constantly changing, and you're constantly evolving and you're constantly changing, or at least you should be. So don't necessarily get too caught up in the roles that you have, because ultimately those roles will change. But make sure that you're doing what you can do to bring to the table so that you can, kind of lighten the load for the other person. And I'm speaking from experience, because there's been times in my life and in my marriage where I probably didn't do that. And it can be overwhelming. If you got somebody, coming home and cutting the grass and raking the leaves and sweeping the driveway and washing the cars, that can be physically demanding. And then, not only that, and trying to balance, household chores and everything like that, it's a lot. So my advice would be the same advice I gave Cameron. Hey, talk about it. Talk about it. Explain what it is that you feel. Explain what it is that you would like to see happen in your relationship. Explain what your expectations are, or what you would like to see in your, friendship, in your marriage, in your relationship, whatever the case may be, because ultimately roles change. None of us are defined by the roles, but we all play a part in it. And one of the easiest ways, or one of the best ways to keep things on the positive, is to know what the role is, know what your role is, and just play it to the best of your ability. And once you do that, everything else generally tends to fall into place. That's going to do it for me. Thanks for listening to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5Gs.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
DEA's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day helps remove opioids and other medicines from your medicine cabinets, where they could be stolen or abused by family members or visitors, even children and teens. The next Take-Back Day event is Saturday, April 25th, offering free and anonymous disposal of unneeded medications at local drop-off locations, including pills, patches, and other forms of prescription drugs, as well as liquids like cough medicine. To find a Take-Back Day location near you, visit DEATakeback.com.
When the insurance company doesn't pay what you deserve after you've been hurt in an auto accident, the law firm of Greenberg & Betterman is here to help you. Get a free consultation today. Visit gblawyers.com, that's gblawyers.com, and feel better.